Eagles and the Washington football team. The Eagles are 3.5 point to 4.5 point road favorites in this one, a total of 44.5 or 45. Brad, start with you here. This Eagles team, look, they still have something to play for. They're still in the playoff hunt. They're going to need some help, yeah, but they can still get in. And so they're going up against the Washington football team that got absolutely embarrassed this past week by the Dallas Cowboys. And now we see a 3 and a hook. Here's my first question, and then get to how you look at this game. Would this have a 3 and a hook if the Washington football team had not gotten embarrassed, where everybody was watching, and the Dallas Cowboys just go out there and absolutely destroy them? Would this have the hook on it if that had just been a, I don't know, 6 point Cowboy win? Or do you think that this line is pretty appropriate?
I'm not sure. I think obviously it was probably a bad spot for the football team. Coming off that Tuesday night game against these same Eagles. And they did just get blown out of the water. So, a lot of people were making fun of Colin Cowherd this week for saying you're going to get the football team's best effort because they got blown out on TV. But I think he's right. I think that you are going to get the football team's best effort. They are getting a lot of people back off COVID. I think we're long-time Eagles fans on this podcast. I think the look for me is probably under 45 here. I think you're going to get the Eagles are going to stick to running the ball. That's what they do best. It's what they did in that first game, and they got movement even against those two defensive tackles who were healthy. And they're punching each other in the head last week on the sideline, which is good to see. And it's just the weather angle. Two teams who played each other 2 weeks ago, and two teams that just move slowly. Basically, if you look at seconds per snap, it's not a strong look for me. I think it's probably pretty appropriately lined, but I think we see a lot of running and a lot of moving clock into bad weather.
New York Giants and actually, Stephen, let me get your take here on the Eagles and the football team. Look, 44.5, 45 seems right-ish. I think if this was 3, it might be a small buy on the Eagles for me, but it's not. It's 3.5. It's kind of a weird game. And I know people are going to look and say, what do you mean? The Eagles are heading in the right direction. Washington's heading in the wrong direction. And I can buy all that, but it's a weird game, a weird line. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to find anything in this one.
So if you look at what Washington had in their 4-game winning streak a few weeks ago, they took advantage of a Bucs secondary through the air, and they played 3 below average offenses in Carolina, Seattle, and Las Vegas. They followed that up with 3 losses, twice to Dallas and once against the Eagles. So I do think that you will get a much better effort from Washington this week. I just don't think they're going to cover 3.5 still. So you could give their best effort and they could still lose by a touchdown at this point. So I just think since week 10, the Eagles have looked really strong. And the way that roster is built, they're healthy and they are elite in key spots and key units on their team, which I think gives them a pretty wide range of outcomes on any given week, even if they get some slightly below average quarterback play. Since week 10, the Eagles are top 10 in EPA and success rate. The Washington football team is below average in that span. The Eagles defense is top 6 in EPA and success rate. The Washington football team is below average in that span. Philly's just elite in those areas along the lines. They're top 2 in blocking win rates. They're top 3 in pass rush win rate, 7th in run stop win rate. They might have the best offensive line in the league. I mean, Jason Kelsey, if you watch his tape each week, this guy might be a Hall of Famer. At his age, he still looks elite out there. And in the secondary, Darius Slay is having a career year after having a few years where he's dipping off a little bit. He's 3rd among all cornerbacks in PFF grade, so he can erase Terry McLaurin in this matchup. They have a slot corner, Avonte Maddox, who's top 20 in PFF grade. And Steven Nelson, their other outside corner, hasn't been a liability this year like he was for a year ago. He has a passer rating allowed of less than 90 in 9 games this year. So they're just a really well-rounded football team, regardless of what you think of Jalen Hurts in this rushing offense.